Good evening everybody and welcome back to TTTV. We weren't gone for long and here we are on a brand new game. This is TTL F2's pre-season race which will take place at the French Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McKinley. Oh, I got that completely wrong. First race this season, nerves. And anyway, joining me in the commentary box is James here. James, how are you tonight?
I'm fine, thank you very much, Kieran. I'm excited for the action. My first commentary on here on F1 2019. Yours as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it because, because it's the custom cars. Obviously, the F2 cars aren't in the game yet. We will be using those when they do come out in F2. However, for now, everybody gets free reign on what their car looks like. So there's no teams, nothing like that, and a perfect opportunity for them to see how the new cars handle, how all the racing goes together, and a chance for myself and James. We've never commentated with each other before, so it's a good opportunity to sort of scope out our our friends and partners here.
Nice little bonding session, I think this is going to be.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like by the end of it, we're going to be the best of friends, the absolute best of friends, inseparable.
Definitely.
But yeah, James, just talk us through a bit of the track. I mean, 15 corners around here. I mean, we've had the recent French Grand Prix. It was lambasted for being a test track, but for pre-season, I mean, it's not that bad of a track, surely.
No, I don't think it is at all. As you say, 15 corners, 2 DRS zones on the straight, the speed trap, of course, coming at the end of the Mistral straight, the first half of Mistral straight. 3 sectors, obviously. It is going to be a real test of nerve, I think, this track, because it can really test the cars, it can really test the drivers. It's a perfect pre-season track, I think, to get us started.
Now, apparently, James, your mic is not behaving itself. Apparently.
Is it not?
Apparently so. Uh-oh, indeed. Let's see what we're doing here.
Right, my mic's bad. Hang on.
Well, I'll take over for a bit then. Yeah, the French Grand Prix obviously is a very interesting track, and we've been here for pre-season. We've been here for the real French Grand Prix, and yeah, it gets lambasted for being a test track. It gets lambasted for all those blue and red bits of tarmac, but they are designed to slow the car down. They're rubbered up with this fiberglass, so the blue bits are moderate fiberglass and the red bits of track are ultra fiberglass in order to try and stop the cars. So when a car goes off, there's no gravel that comes back onto the track, anything like that. And it's a track that has more than 160 layouts. 160. That's insane. Yeah, about that. Yeah. So I mean, you change one corner, you change the entire track. That's how many layouts there are.
Wow.
Now we're wondering now if the mic's getting better, worse. I mean, if it got worse,
hopefully it's getting better.
I was going to say, James, if it's got worse, I don't know how that's possible, but we'll have to wait and see.
Probably my connection. I have got my iPad now on airplane mode, so that might fix it.
Ooh, he's treating us. He's treating us to more bandwidth and Wi-Fi, going to his PS4. How lovely. We like that.
My connection's normally quite below par, so I'm gonna do everything as possible to make this as best as possible.
We've got 12 drivers as well for pre-season. Now, for pre-season, that's not too bad. A first opportunity to get those drivers and those rivals you'll be facing throughout the season. Maybe not in the exact cars you'll be driving in, but you'll get to know the drivers pretty quickly.
I think, yeah, majority of these guys I've actually commentated on before. Of course, I've been taking part in. You've been taking part in TTL F2. I've been commentating on that. Or you've been doing that last season on F1 2018 on the old game. And the only driver I really know off by heart is Ollie, because I've had him under my ownership before in a league I used to run.
Yes, Ollie, who is also trading his mark in TTL F1 as well. Obviously a lot of these drivers are trying out. They want to be in as many races as possible, and yeah, it's a chance for them to try out these new cars as well against drivers, and we'll see whether they make it into F2. We'll see if they make it into F1, but we'll go from there. Now, apparently, James, one of us is buzzing. Are you charging your controller? That might be the reason why.
I am charging my controller, yes.
That'll be the reason why. go. Get that live support off your controller. There you go.
Lead's been put under my desk. There we go.
There you go. That's better.
That.
There we are. We're all good now. We're all hunky-dory as we head to France. And if the weather's anything to go by over the last couple of days, 40 degrees over in France. A couple of days ago, 43 degrees, the highest temperature they've ever had in France.
I think it was recorded at 45.8, which is just insane. And apparently it's going to get even worse because of climate change.
Oh, lovely. I didn't realise we were going to slip that word in there in an F2 stream. However, here we are, and as you can see, all the notice boards, all of the driver boards on top of the pit lane are all sort of generic because there are no real cars here. It's just the custom cars, if you like, the multiplayer cars. So this is where the challenge comes in, James. We've got to try and spot everybody out there. We've got to try and keep a track of everybody out there by using the livery alone, and there's 13 different liveries, and then I reckon at the end of it we're going to come away thinking who's got the best livery.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think we're going to have a bit of a competition tonight, see who's got the best livery. We have already got drivers coming out, I think. They're revving engines, yeah. I can see them. George is one of the first ones.
Absolutely. Let's see what they're going to do. So obviously now we come to the new season. A new season altogether means new tyres, and new tyres mean it's going to be even more confusing for me because I'm so used to the red wall tyres being the super softs, the yellow wall tyres being the softs, and the white wall tyres being the hards. That's not going to be that's going to be very difficult for me to snap out of, but hopefully in a couple of races time I'll be able to get going and have a good time, I think.
Of course, yeah. I think the 3 compound of tyres we've actually got on offer here: red wall softs, yellow wall mediums, and white wall hards. Because I'm on board with Alan Kay, and he's got the hards on.
Yeah, and how we know this is going to go down is we obviously got those 5 compounds of tyres, and Pirelli for this one have brought out the C5, C4 and C3 tyres. So C5 is the softest possible compound that Pirelli can bring to a track. That is the red wall tyres. Then C4 are the yellow wall tyres, and then C3 are the white wall tyres. So expect then the tyres to pretty much go off quite quickly, especially around a track like this. And if we're expecting those temperatures to keep rising, they might go off even quicker.
I'm not sure what the track temperature actually is out on track. Hopefully we can get confirmation of that maybe in the comment section. But Alan Kay, first around the final corner. Gonna take a slower.
It's getting back into this whole it's getting back into the streaming side and making sure you got all the controls right. They're pretty much the same as last season, but it's just getting all used to them again. We've had 2 weeks off. That's it now. We're all gone.
Alan Kay coming out the minute through turns 3, 4 and 5. Trickiest section on the track, I think this is, apart from the flat right-hander at the end of the Mistral.
Yeah, I think turn 6 is a very tricky corner. It's almost like you want to try and commit as much speed through there as possible. However, if you do that, you get a massive amount of understeer going through the corner. So it's one to watch out for, and it's one that can really open up an overtaking opportunity. Alan Kay attacking the curbs and on the entrance of turn 8 as we head now through turn 9 and on towards this straight here that doesn't have the DRS up towards turn 10. This is also a pre-season for us commentators as well, as we get used to all the new audio settings. I mean, I had to turn mine all the way up, and I haven't done that, so that might be an idea to do maybe in between the qualifying and the formation lap. But yeah, there's no point in me going into a menu. We've got cars out on track, and we've actually got someone behind Alan Kay, and this is the thing about the custom. Is that George? Because that's the thing. It is George. You've got a keen eye now. You're already getting used to it. But here they go. He's really
attacking him though. He's quicker because he's on the medium wall of the 3 compound of tyres that we've got, the yellow wall tyre. And there you go, you can prove by the timings. Yeah, and
I think as well, George might have a little bit of concerns there because he might have been held up by Alan Kay, but he's got no reason to quarrel there because Alan was also on a flying lap. So there's nothing he can do there as Graham now goes fastest, 133.7, as these drivers now just get ready and get used to these new cars. And, you know, for the short time they're going to be in these cars, at least we hope for the short time they're going to be in these cars, they should provide us with some good races, because I've been in this car a couple of times. It is a little bit understeery compared to the actual F1 cars, but you know what, they're great fun to drive most of the time. The back end does love to just snap out on you for no reason whatsoever, and you're left wondering how. But Navy there goes fastest on the hardest possible tyres, 133.1. Crazy then beating him 132.9. So yeah, Crazy is a multiple champion of TTL F1. Way back, he's took some time off, then came back, and is now in the F2 series, and that's maybe where he's staying. Yeah, a couple of you are worrying about the audio and the cars, so all right, I'm going to do it. We're going to go into these audio settings. Let's have a look. Let's turn up that volume. There we go.
You need to turn up.
Absolutely. There we go. I wonder if that's any better. Hopefully. Hopefully it is. Otherwise we'll have to bring up a blue screen if that's going to happen, but I don't really want to do that. Anyway, let's see who's there in the chat. That is someone going off in the barriers there, and that's actually the runoff.
Yeah.
So Maximus in a little bit of trouble. He goes straight on, so that will be his lap invalidated as we make our way now up towards turn 10, and a lovely black and yellow livery going through there in towards now turn 11.
Livery, I think.
It is very similar, isn't it? But there's a bit more white on it. But it's a good livery. I quite like it.
Then on Dynamics, that is that livery with Venus on the back as well.
We've got Ollie there. Oh, bit of a tank slapper out of turn 9 there as he makes his way up towards turn 10. He's on the hardest possible tyres, so they are going to be a little bit harder to warm up. However, he's on flying laps still, opting to stay in 7th. Now, here's the thing about these multiplayer cars, is that sometimes it's actually worse to go into 8th gear, especially if you haven't got DRS. The car sort of bogs down and it doesn't actually pick up any speed, so 7th may be your best friend around a circuit like this.
In a very high 6th gear though, actually, Ollie. We're in the final couple of corners.
Here we are then. How will he do then? How will he do as he heads towards the start-finish line? And he goes third, 133.2. So not a bad lap time.
Yeah, he's only a 10th and a half off Navy, just under on the same compound of tyres, so not too bad there from Ollie.
I think Siege here is running some sort of test liveries, trying to hide all the aerodynamics because it's all black at the moment. And I tell you what, all black looks pretty good. It looks like there's no sponsors on the car though.
He's only got the number 2 with the white background at the front there and on the side. That's about it. It's actually a sunburst livery, as you can clearly see on that camera angle. It's a sunburst livery, but it's just been blackened out.
I doubt Sunburst will be too thrilled with that, but you can hardly see it on the side of the car. However, it might only be a test livery. And if that's the case, it does look like a pretty good test livery because it hides most of those aerodynamic parts as Sean then goes top, 132.7. We're just over 10 minutes to go then, so Sean tops the tables, 132.7. Crazy Legs in second, 132.9, and Navy in third, 133.1. But remember, he set his fastest lap on the hardest possible tyre, so that's going to take some beating, and we'll have to keep an eye on him as the session progresses. Here comes Siege towards the line then, DRS wide open, no more ERS to activate, and he goes top now on the hard tyres, 132.4. A great lap from Siege then.
Yeah, really puts a little bit of traffic there at the end of his lap, but shouldn't be too concerned. He's top of the timing speeds as we approach halfway in qualifying. Riding on board with Casper as he heads now towards the line, 31.6, but invalidated. Plaster also retires from the session, and that is Casper in the red and yellow and a little bit of black on the car then as he goes straight on to turn 2 there. Obviously with F2 and F1 there is no release date, there's no announcement for an official start date, but from what I hear from those rumours, those cutting the track at turn 1 and turn 3, everything like that, going straight on at Monza for example, that's going to be clamped down on, rumour has it. Thank goodness for that. Fair, clean, competitive racing. That's what we all like to see, I think.
Here comes Sainz then, down towards turns 1 and 2 on the mid-range soft... oh, I've done it already. Medium tyres. It's going to be a long season. Here he comes then, on the way towards turn 3, braking hard, using that curb on the right, and then you've got to watch out that the car doesn't swap ends on you as you head then through turn 4. As we now head through this right-hander of turn 6, the car really wants to understeer. Sainz using a bit of blue there, and he's abandoned this lap because he's gone straight on.
Thought he did. Turn 5 he invalidated.
So a bit frustrating then for Sainz then as he heads his way down towards the chicane at turn 8 and 9.
Somebody's very slow there. Oh goodness me, polystyrene boards fly everywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, well those new rules aren't in effect just yet, but yeah, rumour has it that they're going to clamp down on that, so we'll have to wait and see.
Really hope so. Ollie, by the way, has run out of fuel, it seems, down the straight. That's why I'm seeing yellow flags in Sector 2, Sector 3. Oh, no, it's not. He's back up to speed. I don't know what he was doing there.
Are you just creating drama, James?
No, very straight. I thought he had honestly run out of fuel, but when I looked down, I was thinking, no, he hasn't run out of fuel. He was just doing something. Maybe adjusting wheel settings, I would think.
Maximus here, going on towards the DRS straight towards turn 8. And he's going to try and use a little bit of tow then from Mays up ahead as we head now towards the braking zone of turns 8 and 9. Braking hard then. You can see 205 miles per hour as Maximus tries to prioritise the top speed of these cars then. We now head towards turn 10, the long right-hander. Fantastic corner. You can take flat out if you really want to. Use that curb on the left-hand side to widen the entry, and then heading now towards turn 11. A very difficult corner. Almost reminds me of Shanghai at turns 1 and 2, where it tightens as you go around the corner. Here we now go up towards turn 12. Braking hard then. A wide entry for Maximus, but it allows him to clip the curb and get the apex of the corner. That's more important as we now head on towards turn 14 now. Again, a wide entry from Maximus to try and get the apex, and then in towards turn 15. A very tight right-hander. Very easy to carry. Too much speed through the corner as Maximus then heads towards the line. Mays goes 6th and Maximus goes 2nd.
400s off. Not bad that. Ooh, I thought Mays was just coming across him there. Oh.
Well, Mays running the red and black livery. With is there a little bit more colour on that? No, it's red and black, and that's that. We've got Alan Kay then.
That is a pure TTG livery, that.
Absolutely. We've got Alan Kay in green, white and orange, or green, white and gold, as I think he'd like to call it, for obvious reasons. I think that the car matches the lid. I think there's not much more I could say about that.
Just seeing who else is on a lap, actually. Maximus is on... Well, he's on a down lap. Sean just coming around the final couple of corners, just preparing up in a blue sunburst livery.
Here we are then, blue and black is the car as he makes his way around turn 15. Just trying to get the car turned in. And it looks like, to me, Sean's on a controller. That's what it looks like. As you head towards turns 1 and 2, you'll be able to see the harsh turning in compared to everybody else. Might imply that he's on a controller. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see. How about the change of direction? Yeah, definitely on a controller. So it's going to be interesting. A lot more drivers this season are on the wheel, but you've still got a couple still relying on the controller as they think they're faster on it. I mean, I know the feeling. I think I'm still faster on a controller. I'm trying to get better with the wheel. Goodness knows I am. And if anybody watched TTG F2 in that sort of end of season race at Invitational, I got a podium. And that was about as good as it got.
I want to commentate on that as well, for sure. Yeah, I don't have a wheel either. Yeah, I can't afford it with my university and stuff like that. Well, there we go.
Here comes Sean then through turn 9 and backs off. Backs off completely then. So abandoned that lap.
There, I think.
So Sean then either he looks like he's trying to burn off a little bit of fuel actually. revving the car as high as he is. We've got just over 4 minutes to go. Siege is on provisional pole on the hard tyres. Maximus in second on the mediums. Sean in third on the softs. Crazy Legs in fourth on softs. Navy, Ollie, fifth and sixth on hards. And it's kind of showing you that people really are taking this as a pre-season race. They're not actually putting in the fastest time possible, at least not yet. They might just treat us to one flying lap, one hot lap on the softest possible tyre. But then you go Siege, 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go out on the out on the mediums. I've done it again. Out on the mediums.
It's very difficult to get used to the new compound, isn't it?
It's so difficult. It's so difficult to snap out of. However, he's on an out lap. Currently provisional pole 132.425 on the hardest possible tyres, those C3 tyres. So interesting to see how quickly he can go. Definitely he can get into the 131s, that's for sure.
Yeah, just to pick up actually, Sainz is behind him out on track and he is actually on a lap here. To come into the pits, he's got 5% ERS and very little fuel.
Here is Siege then on towards the lap then with the DRS wide open as he takes then on towards his new flying lap. This might be the only one. Sainz then tops the table 131.5. Good lap from him then. He's still got over 2 minutes of the session as there you go, he has to, yeah, there you go, he actually retires, so that's it then. He's had enough and that's all he wants to do. He hasn't got time to go back to the pits, hasn't got time to put on a new set of tyres, so that's that. Here comes Siege then, making his way around the turn 6 section and then towards turn 7. Sean retires from the session as well. Most of these drivers just retiring because they haven't got enough time to get themselves back to the pit lane to put on a new set of tyres. So here is Siege then making his way towards turns 8 and 9. Very tricky when you're not running a racing line to spot where exactly the braking point is, such as the nature of this test track. Short run now up towards turn 10 and that flying right-hander, and don't be afraid to see the drivers use that curve on the left hand side to try and open up the corner as much as possible.
9/10 up in the middle sector.
He's really going for it then. Ollie fastest 131.2 and he backs off, so that will be his qualifying session completed, it seems. Let's have a look at Siege then as he makes his way through 13 on towards the braking zone of turn 14 and then into that sharp right-hander at turn 15. Let's see what Siege can do then, riding aboard as he heads towards the line. Not much ERS left to deploy. He actually runs out now and it's a 130.1. So Siege goes quickest, takes provisional pole position. We've got Crazy Legs out there on a lap heading through turn 6 and then on towards turn 7 there, the slight left-hander on towards the DRS straight, heading towards turns 8 and 9. Let's have a look and see who else is on the lap. Graham is out there on a lap, as that is Casper, who's gone third quickest, 131.3 on the medium tyres. I got it right that time. Crazy Legs still out there on a flying lap. We've got Navy who's on an out lap. Let's see where he is. He's just coming towards turn 10, so looks like he'll be able to get onto a lap. Alan Kay on an out lap, living it as late as he possibly can. Graham making his way through 13, now towards turns 14 and then 15. Let's see what he can do on the soft tyres. Tight right-hander there, very difficult to get the exit right, and he's going to head towards the pit lane, so that is his lap abandoned. Crazy Legs now coming through turn 13. On towards turn 14 he goes. Wide entry, just like Maximus we saw. And in towards turn 15 now. Down to first gear and then shifts up to second to help with the traction as he makes his way towards that start-finish line. What can he do? It's up to P6, 32.6. So we've only got...
bad lap.
Yeah, not bad at all. We've got two more drivers then yet to set a lap time. So we've got Navy and Alan Kay. And as I've noticed on these new graphics this year, it stays on outlap until they've crossed the start-finish line, which is a nice addition. I quite like that. So only two more drivers, it seems, on a flying lap. So it's Navy and Alan Kay. Navy is on a set of medium tyres. Alan Kay is on a set of softs. So we'll have to keep an eye on both of them as they make their way around. Navy is 8/10 up through the middle sector. Of course, he set his best lap time on the hards, so he's now making his way now down towards turns 8 and 9. So 8/10 up at the moment would put him on a 32.3. So that was at the moment 5th place.
Oh, hang on a minute. 1.3 seconds up in the middle.
1.3 seconds, so that's now going to take him into the 131s. 131, projected 131.8 at the moment, but of course he could go quicker in the third sector. You never know as he makes his way now towards turn 12. It's all about getting those next series of corners absolutely spot on as we now make our way towards turn 14. There you can see a shallow entrance from Navy as he looks to try and get the car hooked up now in towards turn 15. And what is the exit going to be like? It's nice and controlled, straight on the steering wheel. And how can Navy do? He goes top. 131.0 from Navy. And how about Alan Kay then as he makes his way around the final corner? He's a second up through the middle sector. Let's see what he can do. And I didn't quite see as he crossed the line there, but it will come up in the bottom left corner. 13th.
Improved his time, but didn't improve his position there.
So then let's take you through the qualifying results then here of pre-season. So Navy is on pole position, 131.0, Siege in second, it's Ollie in third, Casper fourth, Sainz in fifth, Maximus in sixth. They're all on the medium tyres. Crazy Legs in seventh, Sean in eighth, both on soft tyres. Mays in ninth on the mediums. Graham rounds out the top 10 on the softs. Then it's Plaster in 11th, George in 12th, and then Alan Kay 13th. Only missing out on that 12th place spot by just under, I should say, a tenth of a second. So what's the chances then, James, of someone starting on the hard tyre?
I think quite high if you want to try and go for one stop. And I was literally going to come on to say I'm surprised nobody has qualified on the hards in qualifying.
Well then, the first race then for TTL F2, but no championship points on offer. It's a non-championship race in this pre-season. Let us know who you're supporting tonight, yeah, let us know who your flags are flying for. No teams in this one. It is just every driver for themselves as of right now anyway. Sainz there in the chat saying he had a bad lap and he had to come back because the tyres were worn, so a bad lap for him then, so he decides it's not worth keeping going. But yeah, as I see right now, there's no timer, there's no people we're waiting for to connect. It's just this screen in the pit lane. So
yep, 10
always
seconds left.
Ah yes, I see it in the top right. Okay, that's fine. All right,
hardly visible, that is.
I panicked for a second there, but we're all under control. We're all under control. So then we make our way now towards the grid and onto a formation lap, and there we go, all of our graphics come in, so that's nice. Formation lap begins then, and it is going to be Navy who leads them down towards turn 1. It's all new to us. We have no idea what the spectator cams are going to be like, what the transitions are like, or anything like that. But let's have a look at some of these drivers then. Navy is going to start on a set of mediums. In fact, the top 10 are going to start on the qualifier. They set their best lap time on there. You can see everybody starting on those tyres. Let's have a look outside the top 10 then. Plaster in 11th, he's going to start on a set of medium tyres. George is in 12th, he's also starting on mediums. And then there you go, Alan Kay, the only person starting on the hardest possible tyres. There's C3 tyres, the hardest possible you can bring to France. But yeah, 3 tyre compounds, soft, medium and hard. You know, 5 different compounds for Pirelli to choose from. It can change it up a little bit. It does make it, in theory, it makes it slightly easier to keep track of which are the softest tyres and which are the hardest tyres. But for us commentators, when we've been talking about ultra softs and hyper softs and super softs, we know exactly what we're talking about, and it's hard to snap out of that now.
Very confusing. I'm going to have to get used to it, I think.
I mean, we've already seen. Someone keep a counter of how many times I call the yellow wall tyre the soft tyres. It will happen. It will happen. It will constantly happen.
You may as well play a game. Take a shot for every time he says that, honestly.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Especially if you're a driver.
I'm not going to be held responsible for what happens after that. Well, we got Navy then making his way towards turn 14 and then towards turn 15 for the pre-season race. Again, let us know in the chat, who are you supporting tonight? Who are you here for tonight? And who do you think is going to win the pre-season race? Obviously, pre-season isn't just for laughs or anything. It's a chance to get some momentum on the board, especially in these multiplayer cars. That's what we'll be starting TTL F2 in F1 2019 on. So They line up onto the grid now, and now I can say we're moments away from pre-season and the first race on TTL F2 here on the brand new game F1 2019. Fingers crossed then, we have a little bit of a good race. 13 drivers have turned up, to be expected for a pre-season. So then we get the green flags, then the yellow flags, as we head now towards those 5 red lights here for the pre-season race. Pre-season is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like Siege has got a great start then as we head now down towards turn 1 for the very first time. Navy's going to have to do some defending from Ollie behind him as they now make their way towards turn 1 for the very first time. Ollie and Siege going side by side now through turn 2 as that is Navy running wide. That's I think there was Science running even wider at turn 2. Very difficult to pick up with all the liveries going on as we head now towards turn 3, and then you can see Science there so wide off the track. He's actually taken out some brake marker boards, and that's going to be something that's going to be heavily penalised if you don't actually and he has actually retired from the session altogether. And that's the thing about the brake marker boards, you've got to be so careful not to take them out intentionally. If there's an intention of you taking out brake marker boards, you can be penalised for it now. As we head now down towards turn 8 for the first time, here's Graham then under pressure from George as we head towards the braking zone. Have a look at all those cars around then. It's a very colourful grid then, and that is Maximus there, sorry, that is George having an attack and a nibble at Graham as we head through turn 8. Couldn't quite get enough on it as we now make our way up the hill then towards turn 10, riding on board now with Siege as we fly through turn 10 in that all black livery. There is Graham, George and Maximus now all heading towards turn 11, and it's always going to be a little bit frustrating. That's Graham there, and that's Crazy Legs going wide then at turn 11 then, and that's cost him a position. That's allowed Casper to go straight through, and look at that, Graham is looking for an inside line on Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs losing the back end slightly on the exit of 12 as we run through 13. And Graham here has to be careful of Maximus, who goes right around the outside. Look at that, on board with George then as they come very close. Sean and George then in towards the final corner, and now on towards the start-finish straight. Navy leads then after the first lap. Ollie in second, Siege in third. I'm not going to call the rest because it could change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, just to pick up on the fact there, George and Crazy Legs in fact ran wide at the final corner. That's why you saw George struggling. He's now under pressure from Maze. In fact, his Crazy Legs just been overtaken by Maximus for 6th.
Yeah, he ran wide at turn 2 there, so it's cost him even more time. So Crazy Legs really struggling with the car. Maybe it was a good car for qualifying, but in these race conditions with you know, half the fuel on board that you would normally have in a full race, he might be struggling. As we see now Maximus on the back of Graham then trying to take that curb as much as possible. Of course, DRS not active yet. Maximus in the slipstream of Graham as they head now towards turn 8. You can see there Maximum on the right hand side. Yeah, try and brake later. Try and go around the outside for the first part of the corner. He'll have the inside for turn 9 as they're now still going side by side. Graham just about holds on, and that is Siege in trouble towards the back then. And yeah, he's gone off somewhere, so he's lost a chunk of time then, as we still see Graham and Maximus battling away then as we head through towards turn 11.
Unbelievable mid-pack battle going on. Oh, Pastor picks up a 3-second time penalty just in behind all of these guys. George, though, right on the back of Sean at this stage. Oh, and Sean actually tries to lunge it down the inside of Crazy Legs, gets that move done. Down the inside for 6th. Good move. Yeah,
great move from Sean. He's trying to build on that momentum he had last season. Meanwhile, Crazy Legs, yeah, round the outside of George, and there you go. George gains the position, and even more so. Maze as well. He runs too deep into 15, so he'll rejoin the track. Oh, makes contact with Plaster, and then takes out the DRS board as well. So, well, the drivers may not know when the DRS is active now. However, we now head down towards turn 1 on board with George as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2. DRS is now online for lap 3. So expect to see plenty of overtaking opportunities down towards turns 8 and 9, and then towards turn 1 as well. Although turn 1 is a very tricky corner to run side by side through.
Yeah, interestingly, by the way, Siege has came into the pits. He's gone on to a set of hards, so that is going to be possibly him to the end of the race. 24 laps on hards. On the previous game, you can actually make that stick. George is right on the back of Sean and running down the straight. Yeah, here we go then. Sean goes defensive. He's also trying to have an attack at Graham. George is having to go around the outside here. Sean brakes later. They now head through turn 8, then through turn 9. Oh, George taps. Ooh, squeezing slightly there.
Yeah, a little bit of a squeeze there, but George comes out of it unscathed, so that's all he'll be hoping for right now. He lost a bit of time, but not any of his front wings, so he'll be happy about that at least as we head towards turn 11. Bit of a yellow flag in sector 2, but it's gone now.
Having a spin there.
So Alan Kay in a spin. Oh, that is Sean running wide at turn 11. He's not enjoying it out there, and he's lost yet another place to George. Another time around as we head towards turn 12. Now George runs wide at turn 12, and he's going to lose a chunk of time as well as he tries to back off and try and find a safe place to rejoin. And that looks like it's going to be behind Maze, and it is down towards turn 14. You can see there a lot of the drivers are actually struggling for grip as Crazy Legs here trying to go up the inside of Plaster. In fact, Plaster's gone round the outside. There is Graham who comes into the pits then on those soft tyres. Not looking like a good omen for them as we ride on board with Crazy. Now trying to go up the inside of Plaster. Thought about it, but backed out of the move.
George trying to go around the outside of Maze in the background. Not quite. Oh, thought we were going to try and get that move done there. Yeah, but Graham into the pits. Those softs definitely seem to be struggling. Sean, I think, is trying to make those softs work, but he is holding a bit of a train. Plaster and Crazy Legs in behind, and Crazy Legs has contact with Plaster and is round for a bit of a half spin.
Let's see if there's any damage to that front wing. Of course, now the front wing is so easy to damage right now as Crazy Legs run wide on the exit of 7. That might give George a little bit of a run here. In fact, he's got the DRS, switches up to 8th gear as we now make our way towards turn 8. It's going to be right behind Maze though, so he has to be careful about his braking zone. He'll go round the outside at turn 8, try to go up the inside at turn 9. Crazy Legs saw it coming and cuts off that avenue. Good defensive move from Crazy Legs there, but it might open him up now towards turn 10.
Yeah, it almost looked like, to be honest, George was almost getting boxed in there. Maze in front of him going quite slow. Those two catching with DRS in behind. Crazy Legs and George, though, still going at it. And in fact, Crazy Legs is wide, well wide, and George is getting that position very easily on the mediums. Those softs are definitely not operating at the temperature they should be.
Either that or they're wearing away much quicker than everybody thought. And lap 5 of this race then is going to be a little bit of a tricky one as we head towards the new season. Plaster moving ahead of Sean then. So Sean, yeah, is definitely struggling on those soft tyres. You would expect him. Yeah, he's coming in then into the pits, and it's a very difficult pit lane to get right. Well. Maze is in as well as we just get... and Maze gets a 5-second penalty for colliding with Sean. So that must have been coming into the pit lane, which will be hugely frustrating for Maze then. On go a set of medium... he's done it again. Hard tyres on for Maze then as he leaves the pit lane. I told you it's going to take a while.
Yep, Graham just jumping ahead of these two, by the way, quite easily in the end. Sean on the on-pit exit. Where is Siege in all of this? He's at the final corner, both of them out ahead of him. So Sean and Maze out ahead. I think, but gap for the lead, 1.6 seconds. Navy and Ollie, first and second at this stage.
Yeah, I think Siege here might have had a little bit of a damage as well, so that would have affected his pit stop. Yep. It would have been even longer. So the fact that he's still 5 seconds down on Maze, well, you know, he's not going to give up as George there making his way through turn 9 and now on the run towards turn 10. Lap 5 and it's calmed down a little bit. It means Navy leads this one. Ollie in second, Casper in third, Maximus in fourth, Plaster fifth, George in sixth, Crazy in seventh, Alan is in eighth, Graham in ninth, Sean in 10th, Maze in 11th, and Siege is running in 12th place. Only one retirement, it was Sainz, and he seemed to pull off after lap 1 and had enough.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand why he did that, to be honest, but you never know. Never know. But I honestly think Ollie is trying to catch Navy here. That gap has came down from 1.7 to 1.5, and it did briefly touch 1.3, so just watch out for this gap coming down, because I think Ollie is going quicker than Navy at this stage in the race.
Lap 6 then, so it's a bit early to pit yet for the soft tyre runners. We're expecting them to go at least into double figures, maybe lap 11, lap 12 before they come in for the hard tyres. In fact, if that's what they do come in for. But of course, in pre-season, it's not all about getting the win, it's about finding the right strategy, finding the sweet spot. Do either of these two go for the 2-stop? Maybe run softs at some point with another stint of mediums?
It's up to them, really. I personally would go for a 1-stop round here if I was in the same position of these two guys. I just think it's a quicker strategy round here as well, opting the 1-stop. But as you say, this is pre-season and they can try out different things, as well as the setups, of course, as well.
Alan Kay is actually closing in on Crazy, and Crazy on 5-lap-old soft tyres. They're really starting to go off now, because Alan Kay on the same age tyre on these hard tyres is actually now closing in on Crazy. Crazy really struggling for grip through turns 8 and 9, then he was really sliding that car, so those tyres have fallen well off the cliff.
Yeah, just through the chicane there, through the Mistral straight, 6/10 gain between Alan and Crazy there. So you can see, as Crazy actually picks up a 3-second time penalty, you can actually see what temperature these tyres are starting to operate at, and I wouldn't be surprised if Crazy does let through Alan Kay here. I wouldn't be surprised with that at all. And when I said about Ollie catching Navy, totally forget about that. That gap was extended out to 2.3 seconds.
And Crazy Legs runs
really
wide.
struggling.
Oh, he spun it. He spun it there, right on the red. And I was just saying about that fiberglass. That is the highest possible abrasion you can have at this track. So that's not going to do the tyres the world of good at all. And in fact, he does jump into the pits there and yeah, makes a stop. And I wonder what tyres he's actually going to emerge on as he makes his way now towards his pit crew. And he comes then.
That is upsetting. Hard.
It is a set of hards going on then. So away he goes, does he? I'm going to assume he has gone. Either that or he's still there. Let's hope he's not still there. There he goes. He's away.
He didn't have a front wing change, did he?
Either that or he just thought he'd have a cup of tea before he went. We've seen it before. Well, maybe he's trying to replicate Alonso in 2007 at Hungary, except it's not qualifying and you're in a race.
Exactly, you are in a race. Closing in though, Maximus beginning to close that gap to Casper for 3rd and 4th. Closest battle apart from Maze and Siege, 10th and 11th at this stage. They're really like starting to get within a second, I would think.
21 laps to go here in France, and it is Navy who leads. And in fact, speak of the devil, he comes into the pits. Earlier than we expected. Yeah, earlier than we expected. So we're expecting him to. It's the medium tyres. So yeah, 2-stop then for Navy as he looks to try and switch up the pack. I wonder then. So this is pre-season. It's a low risk opportunity for them to try out a new strategy. Maybe the 2-stop is the way to go. You never know.
Oh, it's getting close between Maze and Siege right at the back here, 10th and 11th, 0.3 per second separating both of them.
Yeah, they've already come in for their stops, both of them. And are they going to try and make it to the end on those hard tyres? It's going to be difficult for Siege especially. Maze, maybe it might be a little bit easier, but here they come now down the start-finish straight. Here's Siege in the DRS zone with the DRS open.
Easy.
Yeah, it looked like there Maze wasn't running too much ERS. I don't think he's going to make too much of a battle for Siege then. Down towards turn 1, and Siege is now up to 10th place.
Yeah, just to pick up on something that you might have not seen at the bottom, Casper's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Not sure where on track, but he's picked up a 3-second time penalty. That might come costly with penalties at the end of the race. Of course, no championship points up for grabs, but may as well get as high a position as you can. In fact, look at Navy on George down the inside of this is at the end of the Mistral straight, and he's got him. Navy's up past George for 4th.
Yeah, and that's the effect of those fresher tyres. They've got so much more grip as Maximus and Alan Kay now battling up towards turn 10. Yeah. And Maximus is through. Alan Kay there on, again, Maximus shows us the effect of those fresh tyres. Alan Kay on 7-lap-old hard tyres. He's been on those hard tyres since the start of the race. And Ollie now into the pits. And let's see what tyres he goes on to. It's another set of mediums, so another 2-stopper then. Here comes Casper into the pits. Medium tyres are ready. I'm seeing a bit of a trend here, James. It could be a 2-stop kind of day.
Could be a 2-stop kind of day, but if any of these get the mediums to the end, it is possible, you know. It is possible with good time management. It is possible.
But of course,
I doubt that though.
Yeah, of course they all started the race on the medium tyres, so they've got to try. They've actually got to put on another set of tyres, a different compound at least. So they've all got to be back into the pits eventually. As much as I think they want to run to the end of the race, they're not allowed to. Here's Navy then, trying to close in on Plaster. This is for the lead of the race. Plaster yet to stop. Navy has just emerged from the pit lane, running side by side down towards turn 8. And again, I don't think Plaster's going to make that too difficult for Navy. And Navy then retakes the lead here at the pre-season race at France. Yeah,
easily done. Plaster on 8-lap all mediums now, just starting to struggle, just over chicane there at the end of the first half on Mistral straight. Of course, Maze is losing time now to Siege as well. All starting to quieten them down a little bit, and I hate things when they quieten down because there's nothing much to cover.
I mean, you're in a commentary box with me. It's not going to stay quiet for long.
Exactly. Casper's catching Maximus, though, I think. Possibly. Second now, that gap.
Yellow flag's in sector 2, so somewhere out there,
Crazy
someone.
Legs.
So it is Crazy Legs,
Crazy
and he's
Legs,
got.
and that's a turn 6, turn 7.
Yeah, and he's got front wing damage, I think, right hand side. Yep, that's definite front wing damage. So he's been off and explored the barriers, and unfortunately he's lost that chunk of front wing. So I don't know if he's going to be expected back into the pits. James, what are you seeing?
Ollie's looking very close to George here. Down the straight, not going to attempt for a move, but look at him down in the braking zone. Crazy Legs, 10-second time penalty, and Ollie excellent turn 2, side by side. George on the outside, Ollie on the inside. Ollie should have it with the fresher tyres down the inside, gets it done. He's up to third. Great move.
Yeah, great move from Ollie, and again, it's just a testament to those fresher tyres and how much pace you can actually get out of them. Meanwhile then, Graham, who's on 6-lap-old soft tyres, remember, at this point we're sort of expecting them to all basically go away and all the performance to be done and dusted with them, but he's actually catching Alan Kay here, and he might have a bit of go with DRS down the straight here, and Alan Kay's lost the back end completely then, just about saved it, and I think he is going to let him through. He does.
Oh. Goodness me, there's the yellow flag in sector 3.
It's Crazy Legs.
Crazy Legs again. And has he missed the pit lane?
He has. He's reversed there.
That's the old pit entry, of course.
He's reversed there, and then after all that, sped in the pit lane. It's just not been his day whatsoever. Meanwhile, Casper catching Maximus here as we now head through turn 12. Heading through turn 12 now, I should say. But look how much he's catching Maximus here. There's only a lap of difference between these two tyres, but Casper's on it.
Yeah, that gap actually was 900ths of a second coming into the double right-hander, similar to turns 1 and 2 at Shanghai, I think you commented out earlier on. George Balvet into the pits. He's going to be losing position left, right and centre here. But Casper's closing in on Maximus. Oh, is he going to get him into turn 1? Down the inside, Casper, the fin down the inside on Maximus. Hanging the inside line, Casper not trying that. Good have a go though, but I think he's going to get him here.
Could try that switchback. Switchback might be on here, down towards turn 3, and Maximus, I thought it was going straight on there. A little bit of a connection there. I thought it was going straight on, but he did make the corner, and he keeps ahead of Casper. So good little battle between the two of them. They're showing each other the room, they're showing each other the respect out there, and that's what we want to see. Now we've got another chance then, down this DRS zone, down towards turn 8. Casper, a lot more speed then, a lot more overspeed as we head now down towards turn 8, and he's got the move done, comes back to the racing line towards turn 8. Yep, move done, and Casper up to 4th.
Ooh. Alan's had a spin at turn 6 there. Alan's had a spin at turn 6. Lost place to Siege and George. Ollie has gone past faster for 2nd as well.
Is there front wing damage to Alan Kay? Just looking at the camera in the distance, no, there isn't any front wing damage to that car, so he's got away with it and rejoins in 10th place. Of course, he's been on those tyres since the start of the race, so he wants to take those tyres as long as possible. We know from previous seasons how good Alan Kay is at doing that, keeping those tyres in good nick. But spinning like that is not going to help them. Meanwhile, Sean closing in on Graham here. Graham on 7-lap-old soft tyres. Sean on 3-lap-old mediums. In fact, are they medium or are they hards? They're the hard tyres.
Yeah. Bit of a tyre glitch going on there, I think.
A little bit, but not to worry. He is actually on the hard tyres as we make our way now in towards turn 15. And Maximus, yeah.
Inside, got him.
Yeah, you can see how much understeer Maximus actually has. And sorry, Graham. Yeah, Graham, he had so much understeer there. Yellow flags in sector 3. Not sure what that could be about. I think that was just someone entering the pit lane. And the marshal's just throwing out the yellow flag just in case. And Plaster has just emerged from the pit lane and is rejoined ahead of Siege.
He was? Sorry.
Siege,
Plaster,
yeah. So I think this could be a season where Plaster really shows his worth. I mean, in the sort of lobbies that we've been running, the sort of unaired lobbies, he's been having a great time and getting some good results out there as well. I think this could be Plaster's year where he turns everything around and says, you know what, I'm going to go for points. Here's Seastow going down towards turn 8, thought about the move up the inside, but no dice. And I think Plaster's target this season is to get some good points on the board. I think he's capable of it this season, definitely. He's shown a real improvement in pace, heading now up towards turn 10. And yet Siege again looking for a move there. He's using that curve now towards turn 11. Up the inside he goes. Will Plaster put up a fight there? No, he won't. He just lets Siege go through. But yet Siege up the inside gets the move done, and up to 6th place he goes. But on those hard tyres that he's been on since lap 2, he's going to struggle to get those tyres to the end if he keeps battling.
Yeah, Plaster will have him next lap. You watch. Plaster will have him next lap because he's only just came out the pits. Still cold tyres. Siege has got past him for now, but Plaster will come back in him for sure. I think he might be saving up a bit of ERS, in fact. Just to pinpoint that out.
Yellow flags in sector 1. Wasn't sure who that was. However, the yellow flags are gone now, so whatever it was, the incident has been cleared up and we're back under full course green. Lap 13 of this pre-season race. Navy leads, Ollie in 2nd, Casper 3rd, Maximus 4th, Sean 5th, Siege is in 6th, Blaster, who you're watching here, in 7th, George is in 8th, Maze 9th, Alan K in 10th, Graham in 11th, and Crazy Legs running in 12th place. But I think for him at the moment, it's a pre-season race in a pre-season race for him. I think that's what he's focusing on now, getting to grips with the car, getting used to sort of how the car handles, how it all works. I mean, that's what the entire point of this pre-season race is. There's no honours up for grab. If you win it, fantastic, you can take that momentum on to the next season. However, it's all about getting used to the car and getting used to how it feels out there. And at the moment, it looks like Navy and Ollie have got a lid on things. They look pretty much in control.
But the fact of the matter is, though, are they going to get to the end on that compound of tyre?
Well, remember, James, they started on those medium tyres. They then changed onto another set of mediums. So whether they can make it to the end or not is irrelevant. They have to stop again, and I'm wondering here what tyres they're going to choose.
They'll have to go softs to the end of the race.
Well, with 14 laps to go, we saw them in as early as lap 9. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky for them. However, if they can make those soft tyres last, those last 5 or 6 laps, then good on them, I say. But it's going to be tricky, especially with the heat of this French circuit. The heat of the tarmac can really cause some blistering to those tyres as well, so you've got to be really careful. But yeah, we're over halfway through this pre-season race. Let us know who you're backing tonight, or who you're backing maybe in the new season. Do you think there's going to be any underdogs here who might get some points? Do you think that there's going to be an actual champion? Can you see them here? Can you spot them tonight? Obviously, we have the multiplayer cars for the first part of the season until the actual F2 cars come out, and then it all gets pretty interesting again. Set liveries, teams as well, but as it stands, every driver for himself.
Ooh, just catching on board with Plaster there at the chicane, splitting the Mistral straight. He is catching Siege, but he just over-raced the corner slightly. He has lost about 0.3 of a second there. But just watch out for him, because he is actually losing time compared to... Siege is actually gaining time compared to Plaster at this stage. That's just something interesting to note there.
Now the question is also, when does Alan Kay come into the pits? Currently running in 10th. There he goes. Yeah, on the hard tyres, 13 lap old hard tyres. We know from previous seasons that he can really keep his tyres in good nick. Plaster can as well. So it's all a case of, you know, Alan Kay will be looking for the one stop, but is the one stop the quickest strategy? He runs a little bit deep there on the entrance of turn 12. And Graham surely around the outside now, in towards 13, now towards 14. Graham's got the move done. So some light applause in the paddock there. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah. I did, yeah. The crowd actually gets a bit more interactive, I think, with the on-track action, which is really good to see. I've heard that in multiplayer plenty of times so far on the new game, so it's really something. It's GG to Codemasters for doing that.
Absolutely. Lap 15 then. It is Navy leading. Ollie is actually closing the gap. It was around 6 seconds last lap, so it's come down by around 0.8 of a second per lap. But Casper there gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That'll be added to the end of his race.
I think Navy actually made a mistake there, possibly. Because that gap from 5.7 shot down to 5.3. I think Navy might have had some sort of oversteer moment or a bit of a half spin. Because Ollie did gain more time than meets the eye there. Just watch out for that.
Well, I'm sure we will. So the closest battles out on track right now is between 5th place and 6th place, I believe. But only just. Sean is being closed in on by Siege, corner after corner. Both on a set of hard tyres. And both looking to try and make these tyres last as long as possible. Sean here does have some good pace, but at the moment he's just been under the weather in terms of pace. The pace is there, but whether he can find it for the new season is another question entirely.
Yeah, he was saving up ERS there through that final sector, and again he is just moving down his ERS down to ERS mode 1. Of course, if you are new to TTL F2, the ERS management 1 is mode low, I think, and 0 obviously is 0. So if you just watch out for that, the ERS management I think is going to be very crucial in this game. Alan K, by the way, into the pits. Finally, into the pits.
Into the pits. That looks like it's going to go into a set of soft tyres and try and get into... I've done it again! Mediums!
That's a set of mediums, yeah. It looks like in sector 2... Crazy legs. Oh, he's just been reset the track, actually.
Been reset to the track. That's also a thing that's going to be clamped down on next season. If you actually go into the menu and reset your car to the track, you can get penalised. If the AI does it, then I'm not sure what happens. But Navy into the pits then. What tyre will he go on to? Looks like the hards are ready. And it is hard tyres.
That is the hard.
So 11 laps on hard tyres, that's easily done. Very easily do 11 laps on those. Yeah. So what does Ollie do now?
Put in the lap of his life and try and overcut him.
And we've seen before that the undercut in this game is a very, very powerful tool. That if you get the undercut done, you can gain a load of time. Here comes Siege then into the pits, and Crazy Legs there has gained yet another 10-second time penalty. Siege into the pits, on go a set of medium tyres. I wish they'd moved that front wing out of the way so we could see the pit stop. However, he leaves the pit lane now and will rejoin on a set of medium tyres. Of course, now he's used both sets of compounds. He did that when he came into the pits the first time and put on a set of medium tyres. That puts Graham then up to 8th place with Mays also into the pits as well. He's been on those hard tyres now, so yeah, lots of 2-stops going out there today. I think drivers are starting to realise that maybe the 2-stop might just be enough here and might just do the trick.
Mays losing an extra 5 seconds there in the pit stops because of an unserved stop goal, so he has served a stop goal in the pits there, and Alan K is going to be right on the back of him coming out the pits.
Yeah, now that penalty is done and dusted and out of the way, he'll be able to focus now on the race. Now the gaps between each car are actually what they are. Here is Navy though, heading now through turn 13, now towards the braking zone at turn 14. And you can see there, Maximus gets a wide entry to try and clip the apex there. It's his consistent line, that's for sure. And ruined the battle, he's into the pits. So Casper in. Ollie has stayed out, by the way. I wonder if he's going to try and put on a set of soft tyres. Casper, softs. So softs for Casper then.
Maximum hards, actually. Maximus hards.
So lots of different strategies going on here. I think Ollie's now trying to make these mediums last as long as possible. So if he can go onto a set of softs for the end of the race. Now, this is where it does get interesting. If this was the first race of the season, we'd be on absolute tenterhooks here, on the edge of our seat, wondering which one's going to be faster.
Oh, Casper just rejoined out of the pits ahead of Plaster there. Oh, that was going to be... I thought I was going to be so close and nearly side by side through turn 1 and 2. Not quite, but Maximus right on the back of him. Plaster struggling on a set of cold tyres, it seems, because Maximus is all over the back of him.
Yeah, Max was on fresh, hard tyres. He'll have the DRS as well as we head now through turn 7 and now on towards turn 8. He's picked up a 3-second time penalty, but if he can get up ahead of Plaster, he'll call that a success. Here he goes with the DRS now, down towards turn 8. He's got the inside line here, running a ball with Plaster. And yes, he's got that position. In towards turn 9 they go. Plaster here may have another go back because he'll be in the slipstream. He won't have DRS up towards turn 10, but he will have the slipstream. But look at that. He's in hot lap mode, but he's only got 3% left of ERS altogether. He'll try and go up the inside, but backs out of it. Doesn't quite have the confidence there to try and go up the inside using the curb there, and now he's got to try and save up all that ERS once again because he's still in hot lap mode, and we're down to like 6% for his ERS altogether, so he needs to turn down the ERS and build a little bit more back up of it, because at the moment he's struggling with power purely because that ERS can't get deployed properly.
He wants to be watching out for George and behind him as well, because I think George is beginning to catch him as a result.
And here he goes through turn 15 on towards the start finish straight. 2.3 is the gap at the moment. And you can see that George down this straight was in 0, now goes up to mode 2, which is your standard mode. Heading now down towards turn 1. And, well, Plaster's just about putting a gap right now, and there you go. Plaster now puts it down to low deployment to try and save some ERS. Siege then fastest up the race, 133.6, and that's also going to be something as well. As look at this, Graham and Siege going side by side through turn 1. Siege around the outside at turn 2 gets the move done. And that's another thing that's going to happen as well, is that fastest lap will mean an extra point.
Well, I was just picking up on a yellow flag, but I don't know who it was. There's a brief yellow flag there.
And it's Crazy Legs, who's out. He's crashed out at turn 6. Now, what will the stewards make of that? What will the race control here think of that? Is that a safe place where they can recover the car? It looks like it's going to be. With 8 laps to go, I thought there might have been a late safety car or a virtual safety car. That might help out Ollie. But Ollie here is now going for that soft tyre stint. He may have picked up a 3-second time penalty, but he's definitely trying to go for that soft tyre stint. Now remember, in a 50% race, you've got less time on those tyres, and in essence, they wear more quickly. So it's going to be tough for him.
It's going to be very tough. 15.8 seconds the gap at this stage. He's going to be losing more time on this lap. I would have opted to come in maybe a lap, 2 laps ago if I was in Ollie's position right now. Of course I'm not, I'm in the commentary box. Well, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, I'm in the commentary box for a reason, James. I don't know about you. It's all well and good thinking about strategies, but unless you're driving out there, unless you can see what the tyre wear is like, then you haven't got enough information to make that decision. In essence, he should come in to put on a set of soft tyres. Unless he's forgotten that he's only run the medium tyres at the moment. But surely not.
Honestly, if he comes out the pits now, I can see him being about 7-8 seconds down on Navy. Which is, I think, pretty much impossible to complete now. Pretty much impossible for the win. If he comes in this lap. Just watch. I think he is.
And he does. So into the pits then comes Ollie. Playing it safe in the pit lane entrance. You can see there 37 miles per hour. It's not very quick at all here. And there you go, on go a set of soft tyres. So Ollie goes away.
Navy's going to be well past him. He's already on the straight.
And there is Navy then riding on board. And there he goes then. Through he goes. And then down towards turn 1. You've got Ollie still in the pit lane there. I'm just looking at his pit box. And all the crew have left. So we're just waiting for him to rejoin the track, and there he is then. Out to track he goes.
9 seconds.
Yeah, that's a big deficit. But he's got 6 laps he's got now, or 7. No, it's 7 laps. 7 laps to try and make the most of these soft tyres and get the best lap times possible out of them.
Sean right on the back of Graham. Is he going to go down the inside? Graham's cutting in. Oh, near contact there. But Sean, quicker tyres. Going to be side by side down the straight. Graham on the left hand side of the screen. Sean just trying to tuck into the slipstream there, but he should have him around the outside. There is a bit of a tyre glitch going on, but I think Sean has got this round the outside into turn 1. Got him up the P8. Lovely move.
Yeah, absolutely. That rear right tyre is showing up as a soft tyre every now and again. But I've done it again as a medium tyre. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a long, long season. Oh no. Oh no. 7 laps to go then. Navy in the lead. Ollie is in second. That gap's now come down to 7.9.
This could be on.
It could be on. But it's two different two-stop strategies. I mean, you had Navy who went medium, medium, hard. Now you got Ollie who went medium, medium, soft. So this is going to be interesting now to see which of those strategies is actually quicker.
Yeah, just had a quick look at race director there. Navy's got no penalties at the minute. Ollie's got 1. So if he wants to do this, he has to gain 10.5 seconds instead of 7.5.
6 laps to go.
That you need to create.
6 laps to go, and at least a second a lap to have a hope at trying to get past Navy. It's all in good trying to catch them, but to try and overtake them is another thing. And then to gain 3 seconds, it's got to be close to 1.5, maybe even 1.6 seconds per lap, which is great at the start of your stint, but towards the end, you're going to really struggle.
6.5 seconds. That gap is coming down, but I can't see it. I cannot see that happening. Graham's in the pits though. Should be coming out ahead of Mays. Another set of mediums, that is. So
that'll do it for Graham then as he makes his way out onto the circuit. And where is Mays now?
That's a questionable decision, I think. He could have gone for fastest lap there, I think.
He could have gone for fastest lap. However, you only get the fastest lap point if you finish in the top 10. So Graham now makes his way out onto the circuit, and yeah, he rejoins well ahead of Mays. Yeah. So maybe there he was just thinking about getting to the end. He's not concerned about the fastest lap at the moment, and that is something we're going to have to pretty much keep our eye on at the moment. Who does have the fastest lap? It's Siege, down in 7th place, 133.6. I'm expecting Ollie though to smash that lap then as he makes his way around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Heading now towards that start-finish line. I'm expecting 132 here. Let's see what happens. 33.4. No. But it is a second quicker on that lap than Navy. So he's closed in 1 second exactly, which isn't enough.
He is catching. Honestly, that gap was 6.5. I think he's getting 1.3, 1.4 seconds of that last lap alone. It's on, but he needs to start saving those tyres just a little bit. 4.7 seconds. This is through the first sector, this is where he really gains it. Casper picking up his 5th 3-second time penalty there, so that's going to be costing him considerably come the end of the race. Well,
running on board with Siege now as we head towards turn 1 and 2, and he's catching George here at a rate of knots as well. 0.8 of a second the gap. And now heading towards turn 3. Ahead of George is Plaster, who's running in 5th place. He's had a fantastic pre-season so far. He's got the pace about him, and whether he can carry that into the new season or not is another question entirely. But Plaster looking quick here in F2. 5th place at the moment, but running aboard now with Siege then on George as we head now down the straight towards turns 8 and 9. DRS wide open. Overtake mode. Down the inside it goes. Will George put up a fight then down towards turn 8? Looks like he is actually. He'll have the inside line, but no, backs out of it.
Backs off.
So Siege then takes that position away and moves up to 6th place.
Yep, good move around the outside. No nonsense approach there from George as well. Good respect being shown, but honestly, look at the gap for the lead. 3.9 seconds. I'm starting to get a little bit. Can he not do it? We'll find out. Navy's got a 3-second time penalty. Oh, that throws everything up in the air. He now has to catch him, and they'll be equal because they've both got 3-second time penalties each.
So basically what we're saying is now is going to become an on-track battle. Yeah, race is on now, but maybe Ollie won't know that. Maybe he's told his engineer to just stop talking, and maybe his engineer won't tell him. You never know. But as it stands then, 3.2 seconds is the gap, and we have 4 laps to go. Yes, we do. Well, 3.5 if you're picky, but he is catching him.
He is catching him. Siege as well on the back of Plaster. 0.5 of a second. Siege has really gained through that final second, the last lap. And look at him, he's all off the back of him. This should be easy down the straight. Similar move to what we saw with George last lap around.
Yeah, here we go then. ERS gets all the way up to 3 at the moment. Now into overtake. As you can see, he's closing in so quickly onto Plaster. I think Plaster's not even running ERS down the straight. He knows not to... he doesn't want to battle at the moment. He knows it's only pre-season. Yeah. But Seastead goes up to 5th place. And now goes into turn 9, looking to try and close down Maximus, but 7.2, I don't think that's going to happen. He'll probably just hold the fort down in 5th place. Lap 25 has started. We have 3 laps to go, and the gap between the leaders, 2.8 seconds.
About a 1.1 second quicker, Ollie, last time around. 35.5 for Navy, 34.4 for Ollie, just to pick up on that. That's why I was a little bit... quiet there. Just checking the rest out after.
Still 2.8 seconds. There's going to be a point here where these soft tyres go off the cliff. There's going to be a point where these soft tyres...
go off now.
Yeah, look, 2.5 now the gap is. So it's coming down, but not at the extreme rate it was just a couple of laps ago. 2.4 now is the gap as we make our way now down towards turn 8, and you can see there Ollie is doing his utmost best to try and close that gap as much as he can through the corners. He's going to be quicker. That's obvious because there's 2 compounds of difference here. 2.4 now through that mini sector as we make our way now up towards turn 10, that fast right-hander where again Ollie's going to have the advantage as it stands. Here we go then, turning the car in. Smooth that turning is, and using that inside curb really well. And this is turn 11 here, which is again a bit like that Shanghai complex there where you get a tightening apex corner. Now coming towards turn number 12 there, as now we head through the right-hander of turn 13. 2.1 at the moment. We'll have to look at those gaps as they stand, heading through 14 and now heading towards 15 now. 2.1 the gap before they enter the final corner. And now on towards that start-finish straight. Let's have a look at those lap times. I think you're right, James. Ollie's tyres are starting to come off, and they're not being as good as they were just a lap ago.
He's got to catch, I think, 1.2, 1.3 seconds this lap to stand any sort of chance of getting him on the final lap. It's not looking good from Ollie's perspective at this stage.
Well, let's have a look at Plaster and George at the moment. In fact, I've only just noticed now they're running exactly the same livery. So I think they're actually... Yeah, they are exactly the same. I've only just noticed that. It's only taken us 26 laps of pre-season, but they are running the same livery.
Goodness me. Yeah, they are on the same strategy actually as well. And George going quicker. He has been saving up his ERS, but ERS difference around 27%, I think, in favour of Plaster. He's got about 60%. George has got about 40%. So about 25, 27% difference there. But he's right on the back of him though.
Yeah, he is, and this could be a good battle here for 6th place as we head on to the penultimate lap. Navy still leading Ollie by 1.6 seconds, so this isn't over yet, that lead battle. We're just going to ride on board with George as we head through turn 6, but he's lost a lot of time through that complex there. He'll still get DRS though. Oh, loses the back end slightly through 7 as well. So he's really trying to wrestle this car. 15 lap old hard tyres. Could be the reason why, but all that time he gained, he's instantly lost once again.
Final lap, Ollie not gaining time. Navy's going to win this. Unless there's some sort of error that Navy makes, Ollie will win. Navy will win this.
Well, never say never. You never know what those state of the tyres are going to be in. You never know when that back end's just going to completely lose all grip onto the ground. But it's been a good session for Navy then as we head through 3, then through turn 4. On our way now towards that tight right-hander of turn 5. And I believe that was just the green, white and gold car of Alan Kay just in the distance. He's going to finish on the lead lap, it seems, which is a good sign then for these drivers as we now make our way down towards turn 8 then. Yeah, Navy went for the 2-stop, he went for the 2 medium stints and a hard stint, and it looks like towards the end of this race it's the better strategy to be on. The tyres wear less quickly, the performance drop is much, much less as you head further and further into your stint. And as we head now towards turn 10, it's a valiant effort from Ollie, but it looks like it could all go down the drain in this pre-season race. Of course, no championship points on offer as it stands. We're just going to ride on board with George for the second as we head now in towards turn 5. Will he get another chance at DRS, I wonder? And Ollie there, 3-second time penalty. Well, that's that then. I think that's decided it, unless Navy completely cuts the last corner and gets sort of 5 or 6 seconds worth of penalties. Here comes Navy then, around the final corner here in France. And he's proven today that the two-stop may be a strategy worth watching. Navy then crosses the line to win the pre-season race. Meanwhile, Plaster and George then, what happened there, James?
Yeah, George trying to go around the outside of Plaster. I think Plaster might have just cut him off. George got caught on the inside of the curb there and just lost the control of the car. That's why you've seen him lose 1.5 seconds.
And 1.5 seconds is crucial there. Well, Ollie, meanwhile, finished in 2nd place. Here comes Casper then towards the line. In 3rd place, he weaves his way across the line on those soft tyres and will finish in 3rd place. Maximus here making his way towards the line. He's going to finish in 4th place. And Siege, having stopped very early on in this race, goes up to 3rd. Up to
Casper
3rd
having
place.
a lot of penalties.
So after all that, he was dead last at the very start of this race. Had to come in very early on the first lap and is actually going to get 3rd place out of it. Casper in 5th place. George in 6th. He jumps Plaster on penalties. Sean here has struggled today, but he will finish in 8th place there. Graham now making his way through the final couple of corners. Now in towards the final corner and towards the start-finish straight. And Graham here is going to take 9th place in this pre-season race, but he will get a 5-second penalty added on because he didn't serve his stop-go during the race. Here's Mays then heading towards the line. He's going to round out the top 10. Of course, no points on offer, but that would be nice for him to just grab that top 10. And Alan Kay then will finish last of the runners in 11th place. But your winner of the pre-season race and looking to try and build all that momentum, Navy wins in France.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the music a bit.
Well, there they are then, onto the podium. And if you told Siege at the start of this race he'd be onto the podium after pitting in from lap 1, I don't think he'd hardly believed you. But Navy then gets the win in pre-season. And the champagne starts, and that'll be good momentum for Dave M, who is actually Navy. He's just told us in the chat. It'll be good momentum for him to take into TTL F2, especially in these multiplayer cars. But when those F2 cars come around, could be a completely different story though. As it stands then, Navy looks like he's got the upper hand as we head ever closer to the first round of TTL F2. Your official, unofficial results then: Navy takes the win in the pre-season race, Ollie in 2nd, Siege 3rd, Maximus 4th, Casper 5th, George 6th, Blaster 7th, Sean in 8th, Graham in 9th, Mays rounding out the top 10, and Alan Kay last for the finishes in 11th. In that race we lost Crazy Legs, who had 32 seconds worth of penalties before he crashed out of the race, and we had lost Sainz very early on the first lap. He looked like he parked the car up, and that was that. But yeah, James, a very interesting session, and actually fastest lap of the race before we head off went to Ollie, so he would have got an extra point for that as well, a 133.4, and on those soft tyres it was only 0.2 faster than Siege, so he might be one to watch as well. But interesting pre-season, we have to say, James. A lot of drivers surprised us both up and down the field.
Yeah, gotta say so myself, but Navy, full credit to him, strategy pulled off to absolute perfection. And if you want to do a two-stop, that is the perfect example of doing a two-stop round in France. And I'll have the honour of saying that he is part of the TTG Academy, which I'm manager of as well. So it's a bit of a moral victory there, I think, from the Academy side.
A moral victory. Well then, with that then, we should probably do all the plugs. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time TTTV goes live. The channel will be back on Thursday for the TTL F1 pre-season race with myself. I'm not sure if Andy's going to be here, but we will confirm that on Thursday, probably when the stream starts. I'll probably tell you who's there. But you can also follow the league on Twitter as well. I believe it's at TTL_F2, and you can also follow me on Twitter whilst you're there too. It's at KSMCGF1, and you can follow James whilst you're there as well.
Yep, at B52head is my Twitter handle, and of course you will get the pure delights of me being a Sunderland fan on there. So, yeah. There you go.
I'm sure everyone's thrilled with that one. You've really sold it, James.
Support the League One team, never good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for watching this stream. We'll see you on Thursday for TTL F1's pre-season. Until then, I've been Kieran McGinley.
And I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.